Good morning, savages. This is Jenna from Spiritually Savage Mindset Strategy Coaching, and I am so glad that you're here with me for Wake Up Wednesday. I am a mess today, so I will apologize now if you were seeing this on video that I'm such a mess, but it's cool. And we're going to push on and really talk about how to stop sleepwalking through our life and to live our life with no question marks, and really what that means. If you follow me on Facebook or Instagram, you see a lot of my posts on being soul naked. And I want to talk a little bit about what being soul naked is and what it really means as far as transparency and authenticity and really being who you are and embodying who you are, body, mind, and spirit in your everyday life with every person that you come in contact with, and not being fake or putting on a front or saying things just to be polite, but to really show who you are in an authentic and beautiful way so that people can connect with you genuinely. And so that you won't ever feel lonely. You won't ever feel like you're hiding. You won't ever feel fake in your life because you are being the big, bold, beautiful you all of the time with everybody. I used to be a nude model. I actually was a nude model for many years, and I did projects that were for hire projects, like art projects, and also was a model for art classes for colleges and so forth, for painting classes, for drawing classes, for different things like that. And in those painting classes and drawing classes, I literally stood naked in front of, 50, 60 students for them to paint me or draw me for long periods of time, hours, and it was, a lot of people were freaked out by that. My mom was kind of like, not that I was naked, but kind of like, don't you get cold? Don't you want to move and scratch your nose? How do you stand in front of those people and not feel self-conscious or like you're exposed? And then, of course, I got some of the people that were like, well, of course you don't mind standing naked because you look like that and you're skinny and you're this and you're that. There were 3 other models that worked in the same university that I worked in. And one of them was a very heavy Black man. The other one was a young girl who was very curvaceous. And the other one was a middle-aged woman. And so it was not just about what I looked like or my shape. It was about how people feel inside. And I remember when I was first approached about modeling, I thought it was weird because I grew up with a really damaged self-image, and I grew up as the ugly girl, and it bothered me. I had acne from head to toe. I had a lot of health problems. My skin was really, really messed up. I was very insecure. I grew up in a very emotionally abusive home, and I just had so many different hangups that it affected the way that I looked at myself physically. I had an eating disorder for a while that had nothing to do with wanting to be more thin. It had to do with trying to control my life. My life was so out of control, and I needed something that I could control in my life, and whether I ate or not was what I could control at that time. And so it carried on for many years and really made me look at what I thought of myself and how much I wanted to take care of myself and who I was and what I looked like in my eyes. So to look at myself like I had any type of beauty bothered me a great deal. And I remember I focused on it being nude because I thought it would embarrass my family. I thought it would, embarrass everybody. And I said to my grandmother, would you be embarrassed if I did this? And she said, Jenna, would you be embarrassed if you did this? If you had pictures in a coffee table book on my coffee table where everybody could see them, would you be embarrassed? And I said, no. And she said, then who gives a shit what I think? If you are not grown enough to make decisions about your own life, then maybe you're not an adult. And if you'll never be grown enough to make decisions about your life and what you want to do without other people's influence, maybe God shouldn't have gifted you a life of your own. And she said, think about that. And I did. I really thought about it. You know, when your 90-year-old grandmother tells you, you know, to not worry about what the rest of the family thinks or not worry about what anybody thinks and do what makes you happy, you go, huh, it could be a secret to life. And it was. Because at that moment, I made the decision that if this was an adventure I wanted to embark on, it didn't matter if I was attractive or unattractive, or if anybody else felt like that. If I wanted to do this, I needed to do it. And I learned in that industry, standing up in front of those 50 people who were painting me and drawing me, that nakedness did not make me vulnerable. Being physically naked did not make me close to those people. It did not mean that I knew any of them. It did not mean that they knew anything about me. Just because they knew where my freckles were didn't mean that they knew me in any way, shape, or form. And I found, as I learned to be me and really expose the insides of me, that is where intimacy truly was. That's where it lived. I could be naked in front of anybody I wanted to. I could have sex with anybody that I wanted to. And it didn't mean that they knew me at all. It didn't equate to true intimacy. And in our society, we need to stop equating nudity or nakedness or sex or anything with intimacy, because that's not what it is. I have extremely intimate relationships with people that I have never, ever had sex with, or that I never will have sex with. They've never even thought about having sex with, because sex is not about intimacy. Sex is only about intimacy if that is your intent. And for a lot of people, it's not their intent. So we can't confuse those things, because everybody's intent is not your intent, which is exactly why people run around and then get caught up in feelings and the other person doesn't. Being soul naked and being open does not necessarily always equate to relationships. I am soul naked with everybody. I am exactly who I am right here if you meet me in person, because I don't believe in shallow surface nonsense. I always say my hobby is not putting up with bullshit. I don't understand. I don't want to talk to you about surface stuff. I want to talk deep down, dark secrets. I want to share my soul with you, and I want you to share your soul with me. But just because I share that with you does not mean that I believe that you will keep those things in confidence. I don't care, because I am who I am regardless of who you are. I think that in a lot of relationships, we put our trust in other people instead of putting our trust in ourselves. We expect other people to be things that they can't be. We expect people to be who they should be in our heads, or who we believe that they should be in a relationship, or who we believe they should be in life. And when we put these people on these pedestals and they don't add up to those expectations, we're crushed. But it wasn't even them that we were crushed by. It was our own expectations. A lot of this comes into play in relationships. And I've talked extensively about relationships with some of my friends and clients lately, because we've talked about the difference between love that gives you butterflies and love that is a decision that you make. I will tell you that I understand love being a decision that you make. I'm going to stick this out, and not wanting to feel the butterfly, fiery love where you're madly, passionately, deeply in love, because they say love is blind, love is this, love is that. I'm going to tell you that I need the type of love where I get the butterflies and the passion and the fire, because I don't believe in that stuff wearing out, because I believe that it comes from inside. Even if I'm standing in my pajamas and my hair is a wreck and my breath is bad and my, whoever I'm with at that time is, I still want to be able to look over at them and think about them in my head and giggle. I still want to be able to do that. And if you can, then those things will never wear off. You're not going to feel passionate all the time, but the passion needs to come from inside, not from external. It needs to not be about what they look like and stuff like that, because that stuff will change and it will wear off. But if the passion for that person comes from inside and you feel the butterflies still after so many years, then that is a love that has been tended to well. And it is also a love that comes from inside. People say, I can't trust the butterfly love because it goes away and it wears off. Not if you tend to it, and not if you grow it, and not if you keep it alive inside. Also, I understand that people say, if I made the decision to love somebody, even when all that stuff wears off, then I still stick with it because I made this decision. And that is the kind of steady love that I want. But I need to tell you that you need to understand, as humans, we've made wrong decisions. We've also made decisions based on the way we feel then, the things we believe then, the situations in life we're in, our needs at the time, and our mindset at the time. So even though I bought a small car at 20 years old, when I had 0 kids, 0 partners, and there's this, if I now am married and have 4 children, that car does not serve me. It was a good decision at the time. It's not a good decision now. Now I need to change it for something that suits me more. So just because you continue to believe that your love is a decision, our decisions sometimes don't suit us anymore. So we need to learn to adapt and change and always be who we are, so that others around us can see and know who we are. Because if we are in relationships of any kind, the people around us have to grow with us. And if you are not growing with somebody, you're growing away from them. So regardless of your decisions, other people have to make those decisions too. Regardless of your butterflies, other people have to have those butterflies too. It is very important to always be authentic, because when you are pushing yourself down into a mold for somebody else, then you are changing who you are. And in changing who you are, it makes you unhappy, which in turn turns around and makes the other person unhappy. Being who others want you to be is never going to be the right decision. It's not going to help any type of relationship or friendship, whether it's a butterfly relationship or a decision relationship. We need to always show our soul naked self. So this week, as you're going about your day, when you say things, I want you to ask yourself if those things are true. Say, if I didn't care what anybody else thought, if I didn't care what my partner thought or my family thought or anything, who would I be? Completely soul naked. How would I build this intimacy with this person? What do I want to know about them? What do I want to be able to share about myself without fear of rejection? What expectations am I holding for other people that I need to stop and let go of? Because my soul nakedness does not depend on you. It depends on me. It does not depend on whether I trust you or feel like you'll keep things in confidence. It depends on me and how confident I am in myself and how settled I am in myself and how much I believe in myself and how much I don't care what other people think of me. It also is just a love for myself that even though I have flaws and even though I have thoughts that other people might disagree with, that it doesn't matter. All that matters is that I'm proud of me and that I love me. So this week, love yourself. Find what makes you proud of you. Make a list of all the things you've ever done and ask yourself, did that make me proud or did that make someone else proud? And what can I do today to make me proud of me? And what can I do today to make me love me? I want to be my own hero. Be your own hero every day. Learn to live a life with no question marks. I want you to have an amazing day. I want you to have an amazing week. And I want you to have the most amazing life. I want you to tune in next week and we're going to talk some more about how to stop sleepwalking through your life. Have an incredible day. Go out and love yourself. Find out who you are soul naked, because you can't show it to the world if you don't know who you are. Show who you are to you first. And then say, wow, I really love that person. And I can't wait to introduce them to the world. See you next week.